Okay, so the stream looks active now. There's a link to the stream. I think that's the correct link. Wait. Yep. Um, and I'm going to make myself small and put the code behind me. I'm just going to put this screen behind me right now, not to play again, but just so if you're looking for the video in the future, you can see that here's the dinosaur game that we're coding. And yeah, we can get started. So it's been a few days. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to figure out how to print just certain images from this PNG. And so what we've done here is we just wrote some code that says, oh, let's print the whole thing. And so we found out that the dimensions of the whole box is 1,233 by 68. So when we look at this, we get the whole thing printing. Now, our canvas isn't that big, so it's only showing what we can see in the canvas right now. And we're going to leave it that size for a little bit because I want to be able to change the canvas size later. And the canvas size shouldn't really affect the game too much, although we do want to have that zoom out effect from the Dino game. When you first load the Dino game, it looks like this. And then when you hit space, it zooms out. And we do want to do that, probably. I don't want to stress you out with that, but we do want that effect to happen. So we're going to keep it small to start. And we're going to see, can we get this up and say press space to play? We could even try to copy the font if we want. Although I think you could choose your own font. That would be fine. So we want to get just this box. So if the whole thing is 68 pixels tall, I would think that this line here might be 60 pixels. So I'm going to start with that. So I'm going to come to the Dino.js, and I'm going to say we want to get, we'll do 60 by 60. And then we're going to paste it as 60 by 60. Or I think it actually might be 100 by 100. I'd have to look at the documentation, but this comment here, which came out of the documentation, with width divided by height equals 100 times 100. So we'll see if this is, no, I think it's actually 60 by 60. And it should be in the upper left corner, but we're going to play with this a little bit. I've actually not used images this way in JavaScript before, so it's an exploration for me as well. So when we hit refresh, okay, we got this piece here. Oh, this is the width by height. Okay, so the X we're going to just move over 60 and see what happens. And hopefully we're going to grab a different box. See how it shifted over? So 60 was a little too much. So we're going to back it up. Make it 40. And we could use other tools, but there, now it looks like we're getting the dinosaur. Now, our box is a little too wide, so we're going to make it a little less wide. And we're going to make it a little less tall. So instead of 60 wide, we'll make it 50 wide. Okay, that's looking pretty good, except there's this little cloud piece, so I think it has to even be smaller. So we're going to make it 40 wide. Oh, nope. Something wrong there. Oh, that's because I want this to be 60 by 40 here. Keep going. Maybe 20 wide. I think that's going to be too much. But as you see, I'm just kind of guessing. Oh, that's tall. XY. So that's why it wasn't working. I was modifying the Y, not the X value. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Now I'm going to take a little bit off the top of the height. Make it 40 by 50. There, it looks like I'm getting just the dinosaur now. Now to move that dinosaur around are these two coordinates. So if I want to move him 10 to the right, now he's moved 10 to the right. So what we're seeing here is this is our original image. This is the width and height of our original image. And this is the position of our original image, the top left corner. And this is where we want it to go. The top left position and the width and the height. Now if we double this, if we make this 80, 100, you can see what will happen. The dinosaur gets twice as big. So that's how we can scale our image. That's actually pretty powerful. So now we've got this code here that runs when the web page launches. So what I want to do is I want to put this in a function so it will run whenever we want. Draw, call it draw intro. And I'm going to copy all of this stuff into draw intro. I'm also going to select this and hit the tab button so it's indented nicely. I'm going to delete out their comments because I want to have a little less. So this is the source XY, and this is the source with height. And then this is the destination XY and the destination with height. Now, if you're a student in this room who's hated coding, this is actually a decent spot for you to start. Because you could do it. Anybody in this room can do this stuff. And we don't have that much written yet. Actually, I'm going to... yeah, I'll leave it like this. So these up here are global variables. And what we do is we have this image file. We have the canvas and the context. And we're going to leave that as a global variable for this program so that we can just reference image and canvas and CTX. And the draw intro, what we can do now is we can say, and X comma Y. No, we're just going to say draw intro. And so then what we can do is we can call the function draw intro, and it will look pretty much, it should look pretty much the same. Now I'm looking at this game, and they've got this dinosaur, great, but they also have press space to play. So that's the next thing we need to do. We need to write the words text, press space to play. And we're going to put that in this draw intro section. And if you don't remember how to draw text, because I don't remember anything ever. Well, I don't even know if we've drawn text, but I'm Googling JavaScript draw text on canvas. That gets us to the page. I just pasted it in the chat. And right here, boom, we got canvas, context, font, all this stuff. We're going to steal this. Putting this in the chat as well, so if you don't feel like coming to the page, you don't have to. And now we're going to come to Codio, and in our draw intro function, now we don't need this canvas. We already have the canvas at the top, and we have the context at the top. So we do not need these two pieces. We can make the font whatever we want. I'll keep it at 30 pixel Arial. And instead of hello world, I want to write press space to play. And then I'm going to hit the refresh button, and it says press space to play. It's looking good so far. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. I think Arial is fine, and I'm going to push it down a little bit. Now, what I'm going to do is up here, I'm going to say offset X equals 0, offset Y equals 0. And the dinosaur is going to get printed to offset X, offset Y. And then the fill text lines up with the dinosaur on the left. So we're going to say is offset X. And then it's going to be offset Y plus something. Now, I know that this is 50 pixels tall, so I'm going to say, let's make it plus 60. So it's 60 pixels down. Nope, not quite enough. I need to push it down further. Let's try 100 pixels. There, we got press space to play. Oh, I wanted to make this a little smaller as well. So the font, instead of 30 pixel Arial, I'm going to say 20 pixel Arial. Compare it with the actual Chrome game. Not too bad. And then later, right now our whole canvas is right here, so we don't have a lot of space. I'm going to make it a little less tall now that the font's smaller. I'm going to bring it up to 80. But then offset X, we can change this later. If I make it 20, it's going to shift both the image and the text by 20 pixels. And I think that looks pretty good. It's not the right color. We're not going to worry about the day and night cycle until later. And that's going to be something that we can do at the end. So we're just going to keep it this daytime cycle. I'm pretty happy with that. It looks like Google has probably changed their graphic a little bit since the one that we have was pulled. Oh wait, he's got a rounded nose. Our guy doesn't have a rounded nose. What the heck? Maybe he should be a little bit bigger. The source, try making the source 45. We might be chopping off the tip of his nose. Let's see. Oh, wait. That looks bad. I'm going to leave it as is for now. I'll play with that a little bit. Wait, no, that bugs me. 45, 45. Oh, okay, yeah. So 45, 45 is a better width. We were chopping off the tip of his face. It was hard to see. Um, we're going to do another function called main. That's going to set up all of our code. In main, we're going to call draw intro. And then at the very top, we're going to call main. You want functions to not do too much. We also don't want too much floating code. So when our code launches, we're going to call main. The main is going to draw the intro. And then what we need is, it's called an event handler. And a keyboard event handler is basically going to say, whenever the web page gets something to happen, we're going to respond. Now, we've done this with Flappy Bird, but the event handler, we really only care about keyboard event handlers because I don't think the actual game, yeah, clicking doesn't do anything. Space does stuff, clicking does nothing. So we need to, I don't know if you remember how to do an event handler, but I'm going to say I don't. So I'm going to come here, I'm going to say JavaScript keyboard event handler. And I see this stuff, I see this, I see there's my W3 schools. I feel like they always do it best. I'm looking for one of their examples. On key down or on key press or on key up. Now, when I play this dinosaur game, as soon as I press the down key, I don't have to release it. He's jumping. I haven't released it. So it's when we're pressing down on the keyboard that matters. So that'd be on key down. And there's a couple ways to do this. Okay, good. They have it all here. I'm just going to do it this way. Object on key down equals function my script. So I'm going to copy this. If you're not on this page, that's the code. And I'm just going to say, not object, I'm going to say document, because that's our web page, on key down. And I think I could probably also just do on key down equals, and I'm going to name the function key down. And then I'm going to write the function key down, which, if I remember correctly, does take one argument. We're not going to worry about that argument yet. All we're going to do is going to say console.log jump. And then I'm going to come back here, hit F12, and refresh the page. And whenever I press a button, I'm seeing the word jump pop up in my console, meaning the key is being registered that I pressed a key. There's 12 minutes left in class, and I don't want to push any harder than I have with this. So I will scroll through the code right now, so that if you're watching the YouTube video later, there's no comments on this. We'll do that later. But I don't want to do more than this right now because I want to keep this casually paced. When we keep it casually paced, it will take longer to write, but it hopefully doesn't stress you out too much. So that's where we're at, and I'm going to stop our stream now. If you would like to